Hey guys, Cheap Jeep here. So today I'm going to show you how to replace your transmission rear seal. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is loosen your speedometer cable, and then you're going to want to loosen your U-bolts. Now, since my transmission seal blew out, fluid came out between the transmission where the transfer case meet up. So it's right around the tail shaft area, and that's where the rear seal is, and that's the seal we're going to need to replace. So once you get started, you go ahead, loosen your speedometer cable, and disconnect it from the transfer case. That's the easiest part of the job. Step 2, you're going to want to loosen the 4 half-inch bolts on your drive shaft. You can pry it out of the way. Just like that. Glad I took my drive shaft off when I did, because these things are shot. Look at this thing. There's the bearing right there. Wow. Definitely gonna get a new one of these. Alright, once all that shit is out of the way, you can go ahead and take off these 4 bolts. They are 5/8, and there's 1, 2, 1. The second one is up there somewhere. And the other 2 are on the other side. Here are the other 2 bolts. I got one out already. There's the other one up top there. And they're the same size as well. Alright, once you get all 4 bolts out, this thing should be ready to come out. And I just slide it straight out from the tail shaft and you drop it. Now I'm going to pause the camera for this one because I don't have a partner and this thing is heavy as hell. Alright guys, transfer case came out. It just dropped. And it was really heavy, so I'm definitely going to need help putting it back in. I mean, I've done it before, but I don't feel like doing it this time. So here you got the tail shaft. And down here you got this little O-ring with a bunch of ripped up RTV on it. So that probably doesn't help. And, you know, you got a bunch of crud and stuff. That probably doesn't help. So I'm trying to figure out where the seal is. I'm guessing it's this, but it's the transmission seal, and I don't see any seals up there. I mean, you got this bearing. Well, anyway, it came out a minute ago, but that's all there was, and behind that is just a hollow area, and then tail shaft goes all the way through, that kind of shit. So that's interesting. So I'm gonna try and clean up this O-ring or get a new one, whichever, and see what I can do about this little seal inside here. Alright, so I took one O-ring out. This is part of the gasket. So as you can see, it ripped its way out. So that's probably part of the problem. This seal was way too brittle. So came out of this little groove here, and there's another one side here. So I'm going to take that one out, and here's the remainder of the first seal. So I'm not sure if it comes with a metal piece. I'm pretty sure it does, but I have to find a way to take this thing out. I'm pretty sure like you get pliers or something and pull it out. But also you get a little O-ring that goes on here like that. It stops your. That's basically a backup to keep your transmission fluid from leaking out. Okay guys, so here's what I come up with. I just got me a pickle fork and nice heavy hammer, and I just went to town. So it turns out there's 2 of them. So one sits on the underneath side and one sits on top of it like that. And when it's all the way down, the top one is flush with this area here. So take your pickle fork, dig underneath it, and don't try and score up the inner wall here, and just like tap at it. So when I did that, and these came out, and they both look exactly the same. So you must have to order 2 of these when you go to your parts store. I think when you get one, it's only 1, but this transfer case requires 2 seals. So just keep that in mind when you take this out, and make sure you get the correct one. And inside here, you get a little seal looking thing, and inside the seal is a spring to keep it rounded, and that sits inside here like that. So be sure when you put the new seal in, you tap it down flush so it won't bend or kink up on you. Yeah, this bullshit's way off. Okay, third time's the charm. Looks legit so far. About the same. Awesome. Alright, moment of truth. And it does fit. I like that. I'm a happy camper. Okay, so when you put your seals on, make sure your surface is nice and clean. Then you put the first one on, bang it down, get like a wide cylinder or something, and make sure you tap it down evenly. Make sure all sides are evened out. You don't want to bend up the seal, then you really be screwed. I had a hard time getting these seals as it is. But anyway, after that you put the top one on and you repeat the same process. So I'm assuming the open side goes on the bottom and the closed side goes on the top. So yeah, we'll see, because this seal is closed on both sides. But I looked at some videos and people have put it on with the closed side up, so I guess we'll find out. Okay, drove the Jeep around a little bit yesterday, and so far, no leaks. No fresh ones anyway. I'm really happy about that, but the only problem, transmission still slips. So after a while, you know, it'll go into like this neutral mode, and the RPMs will raise and all this other bullshit. So here we have some Lucas transmission fix. Apparently it stops slip. It's almost like stop leak, but it prevents your transmission from slipping out of gear and causing a whole lot of problems. So maybe when I drove the transmission home that day, I might have burned everything out, but hopefully this will fix that. So we're gonna put it in there. It doesn't say drain a quart or whatever, because this takes up more volume, but it just says dump it in there and hope for the best. So I pulled the dipstick. There's a full mark, and here's the end of it, so that seems about right. So luckily it doesn't leak any fluid anymore. So once you pull the dipstick, you're going to take this AutoZone Awesome Sauce right here, and you're going to want to cut the tip off, and you unscrew this cap, and it's got a little tin foil cover on there so it doesn't get contaminated. And you just want to pull that off and put this thing back on, cut the tip, or just pour it in this way, whichever. It'll probably be best to get you a nice funnel, because it's not the best spot to locate a dipstick for a transmission. So once you do that, you can pour this stuff in here. You can squeeze it in or just let it flow in. I like to let the gravity do the work. So let's give that a couple minutes and go from there. Alright, once you're done pouring this red goopy stuff in there, you can go and put your dipstick back on. Also note that on the bottle here it says every 30,000 miles when you're going to want to change your transmission fluid. And when you do, you're going to want to add 1 bottle of this stuff. So just add to your transmission fluid, and that will supposedly stop your slippage permanently. And once the Lucas reaches the bottom, you can go ahead and put your dipstick on and take it for a drive. Take note that it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to get the Lucas to set up right. And you're going to want to baby the car the first couple of days in order to get the transmission fluid and the Lucas to function properly. Okay guys, transmission did pretty good for the first part. But after about 5 minutes or so, it started slipping and acting up. It's getting to the point where I might have to take it to the transmission shop and have it fixed. But I'll give this Lucas stuff a couple more days, and if it still acts up, then I'm going to start forking out some money. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how this thing acts. So you start it. You can hear that whining a little bit. And I put it in gear. It's very slow reactant, so put in drive. And it vibrates a lot too when I try to get going. My shifts are late, it reacts late, the pickup is late, and it slips like hella bad. So, I don't know, man. There it goes. Then a couple seconds later, I want to slip again. Yeah, I think it's only getting worse. Okay. Lucas didn't work out. Not the results I was hoping for.